If God is infinitely removed from his divine intelligence, more than the 5 degrees of separation that our intelligence is exalted and removed from our form of action, then why do we use this as a metaphor for us to appreciate and to understand the divine order of creation, of how God creates the world? We are saying that in the human soul, intelligence is the most refined, the most powerful form of life within us. From there, it's incomparably greater than our emotions. When we say greater, mean in the life force of it, because the intelligence is the life force and what vests itself in emotions that brings about emotions. So of course it's greater. It's the cause, and the emotions is the effect. And of course, from emotions to thought, when we speak about emotions, raw emotions that are beyond any form of language that is in thought, that's already very much limiting compared to the way things are in one's emotions. And again, emotion is the cause, and the effect being lesser and incomparably lesser in the power of the soul is the thought. And again, we think about that which we have a strong emotion about. And of course, then we speak about, right, in language, verbalize that which we think. So the source of speech is the thoughts. So again, it's incomparably greater, more greater life force. And then, of course, action is the final destination. That to do the act is a much more simplistic form of come to me the right word in English. Of capacity and capability and life force of the soul. It's in an action, right? Extending your hand to give charity, extending your hand to help somebody. That power of the soul is incomparably less than being able to speak. Not the effect of it, because you can say I love you and don't mean it, and your actions can be much greater. Not talking about that. Not talking about the value and the effect of it. I'm talking about the power to do it. So if that's the case, that there's 5 degrees of separation in our soul, but God, he's infinitely removed from his divine wisdom, completely exalted, then why would we use that form of metaphor if his wisdom, he's not 5 degrees removed from it. He's infinitely removed from it. Because wisdom in the end is a thing, and God is no thing. No parameters, no limitation, no definition. But ultimately, what does God want with me and you? A relationship. And he wants a relationship that we own it. And the only way you can own a relationship with God is when you internalize your connection with him. If God's way up there and all it is like, okay, God, whatever you want, I'm there for you. It's like you say to your wife, okay, my wife, whatever you want, I'm there for you. That's not, that's a beginning of a relationship, but not a healthy one. It's a beginning, but it's not sufficient. We also need to appreciate and understand and internalize with our minds to understand our spouse as best as we can, of course. And and because of that, we own the relationship, it's internalized and it's much deeper relationship as a result. And the same thing with God. God wants the relationship, but he wants the relationship in a manner that we can own it, that we can have it an integral part of us, that it is permeated within. It's not just from beyond. Oh yeah, God. Hey, he's beyond any definition. Of course, he's creator. I mean, that's it. Beginning and end. He's beyond anything and everything. Oh, I can't even say anything to describe him. That's true. Yet, God, he emanated from him divine wisdom, in order that in that divine wisdom that I have a part of him in me, that I can now appreciate something that even would call him wise, but not real wisdom is, it's not the way wisdom is within me. We call him kind, we call him compassionate. It's not exactly the same manner, but yet we call it by the same name because that way I have some inkling of understanding of him that gives me some kind of relationship. In the end, I have to realize that by me, it's a thing that he's way above and beyond. By him, it's a no thing. That he's not limited to that thing. But he gives us that so we can have some form of comprehension. Although ultimately, God is beyond any comprehension of ours. Ultimately. To such a degree that it comes from him, intelligence, divine intelligence. It comes from him, but it's not direct from him in a manner that he's defined by it. Therefore, to give you by way of example, anybody would kind of scoff at you and joke, think that you're completely foolish if you would say, oh, this teachings that we're learning in Tanya now, I can't grasp it with my hand. And you can't grasp it with your hand. That's a foolish statement to make. Why is it foolish? Because any kind of intelligence or any kind of an idea is abstract. It's not a physical thing that I can, like a pen, hold and grip in my hand. I don't have this wisdom gripped in my hand. That's a joke. Can't say that. It's the same thing with God. God is infinitely removed from anything that we can't call it, that we are transcends it. Transcends even his intelligence, his wisdom, his kindness. That's all something that emanates from him, right? Yes, it comes from him, it proceeds from him, but he's not directly defined by it and limited by it, which is usually the form of cause and effect would be. Won't go into that now. So, there's who God is and what God does. God, who is he? Beyond anything, even divine wisdom. What does he do? Oh, with that wisdom, with his compassion, with his kindness, he makes a world. He creates and gives us, as a result of his divine wisdom and kindness and compassion, an inkling of him in creation. Which is a very powerful, beautiful idea. Okay, we're going to continue this discussion. I have to go, I have an unveiling. Tomorrow, God willing. Tonight we're going to have at 6:30 Torah studies class. Parshas Korach, you don't want to miss it. telling you don't want to miss it. And TRC, Tanya Rabbi Community, tonight at 8 o'clock. You don't want to miss that either. And for those who are not aware and familiar and haven't tasted it yet, it's taking the teachings that we learn here that sometimes can be abstract and putting it into day-to-day living and how these teachings come alive in a personal way in your personal life. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zurich and Kadeshim in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have an amazing, wonderful day and a good Woch, a good week to everybody. And don't forget, Gimel Tammuz is this week. We have to prepare for the third day of Tammuz, the day that our dear Rebbe physically was removed from this world. But as is evident by all of you here, and so much more is evident, that he is very much alive. So we need to prepare for Gimel Tammuz. More on that to come. Have an amazing day.